verse 43. Everybody lock and load for this verse, the scripture. All right, Matthew 21st chapter, 43rd verse.
Read on to Matthew chapter 21, verse 43. Therefore say I unto you, the kingdom of Yahweh shall be taken from you and given to a nation bringing forth the fruits thereof.
All right, read that again.
Therefore I say unto you, the kingdom of Yahweh shall be taken from you and given to a nation bringing forth the fruits thereof.
Where's the kingdom going to be located? On earth. But he's telling you the kingdom of the Most High, the rulership of the earth, has been taken from you and given to who? Another nation. Don't think the kingdom of earth is rulership of the earth. Just like Adam was the king of the earth, subdued rulership of the earth. That's all the kingdom is. Rulership of the earth. Not rulership some far out place. It's going to be right here. Rulership. You are the royal people. You're going to rule on this earth. Okay? That's why Yahweh-CHAA was such a threat to who? The Romans. Because they understood kingship. Okay? He understood kingship. All right? Now, let's start. So we're going to read the parable. So when we read into that, you understand it fully. Let's start at verse 33. Y'all okay? All right.
Read now the book of Matthew, chapter 21, verse 33. Hear another parable.
All right, House of David, listen to what Yahweh-CHAA says here. All right, because it's going to go right into that scripture. He said, your kingdom, Most High, has been taken from you and given to another people. The rulership of earth is taken from you and given to another nation. All right, let's read verse 33 again.
Hear another parable.
Go ahead.
There was a certain householder.
The householder is the Most High.
Which planted a vineyard and hedged it around about and digged a winepress in it and built a tower.
All right, so the Most High is the householder. The vineyard is talking about the earth. This Yahweh-CHAA speaking in parables because you know, okay, everybody ain't gonna pick up on this. They don't understand what's happening. Okay? The household of the Most High, the vineyard is considered the earth and all the riches and so forth of the earth. Okay? Go ahead.
And let it out to husbandmen.
The husbandmen are like rulers and kings.
And went into a far country.
And then the Most High went to a far country. Like he went into it. Like I said, the Most High is in heaven. That's his throne. All right, the earth is just a little possession. So he created that and he stepped away because he wanted man to rule that. He wanted the royal family, which is us, to rule the earth. Okay, continue.
Verse 34. And when the time of the fruit drew near.
All right, so now, as you know, when Yahweh visits the earth, when does he come? On the high holy days. He comes on the high holy days. Notably, the Sabbath, that's when you're supposed to honor the Most High. And as you know, the three major, what are the three? They said all men are supposed to come before me. Doing what three high holy days? Passover, first fruits, tabernacles. All right. Now, you all know that all those high holy days that we just mentioned is on the full moon. You know that, right? Because scripture says that the moon is a sign of who? That's talking about the 15th day. The three major holidays that we just spoke about is on the 15th day. Matter of fact, let's hold that. Go to your pocket. You actually go to pocket now. Yeah, we'll go to pocket right now.
That shows the Most High is a mathematician. Everything is precision.
Precision.
Timing, man.
And earth is just, he don't really care about earth. he wanted man to rule the earth. He wanted us to rule the earth in righteousness. That's where it's going to be. Okay? We're going to be in that position. We're going to rule the earth. Okay? All right, and we're going to have what? Turbans and what?
Crowns.
Because we're going to be kings, what?
And priests.
King and priest.
Good.
All right? It's going to be righteousness. All right? These leaders of the world today, they're not kings, and they're not even priests. So you know they're not following the laws of the Most High. That's why just so much wickedness in the earth. Because who's ruling it? That's why I compared it to a business here. He got to come back. I got to stop firing people now. I'm giving him some time. You know,
Lay off.
all right? Because he doesn't want to rule. Yahweh Most High don't want to rule in earth. He want to rule on the earth, but he don't want to be in the earth ruling. He want man, and actually he wants specifically us, the children of Israel. We're his this holy people. We are the royal seed. Okay? All this should be start making sense to you all. Okay, they don't teach you that in church. They think everybody is the royal people. Nah. Because Yahweh didn't come for all the people. Who the most get the law to?
Israel.
It says Israel. All right? So only people that's considered sin would be the Israelites. It's common sense. Okay? Remember, the Bible is for, hold on a second. It's for the Jews, of the Jews, and by the Jews. All right? There is no Gentiles writers in this book. People say, if people like to say Luke was a Gentile, Luke was not a Gentile. He was not a Gentile. Okay? So again, this Bible is about a king, kingdom, and a royal people. All right, so let's go to Ecclesiasticus, 43rd chapter. Most High, he's amazing.
Which one? 43 and 6.
Yeah, it's Ecclesiastes 43 and 6.
Reading out Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 43, verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of time.
All right, so he made the moon, which is another possession of his. All right, he don't have his foot on the moon, but that's another possession of his, another business entity of his. But he made the moon to declare seasons. That's how we know what season we in. That's how we know what month it is. That's how we know what week it is. I can look in the sky, look at the moon, I can tell you what week it is. Okay? I want to study more to learn how to know what day it is when looking at the moon. But I can look at the moon and tell you what week it is. Okay? All right, so the moon declares the seasons. That's how we determine. Go ahead.
For a declaration of times and a sign of the world.
And a sign of the world. That world is Israel. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 7. From the moon is a sign of feast.
Underline that. By the moon, you can look up in the sky. We know if your Passover and there's no, you don't see that big moon on Passover, it ain't Passover. All right, when the first fruits come and you don't see that moon hanging bright, it ain't first fruits. If you look up in the order and you have the Feast of what? Tabernacles. And you don't see that moon sitting there, it ain't the Feast of Tabernacles. Even what we had last week, Purim. All right, you know the Purim is on the full moon. The scripture said what? 12th month, what day? 15 days, the middle of the month. All right, so Purim, you saw that moon sitting out there. So the moon is the feast of signs. Sign of feast, put it that way. Okay, the moon. All right, go ahead.
From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreaseth in her perfection.
As it goes through its phases. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 8, the moon is called after her name.
Right, the month. The month is called after a name. In other words, the word month was named after the moon. Okay? So we live according to what is a Gregorian calendar or a Roman calendar. All right? But the Most High said, we got to go by the moon. Okay? Continue.
The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing.
All right, her phases, go ahead.
Being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven.
All right, so you see at times when we fought at night, we use the moon for light. Okay, let's close that. Let's go back to Matthew 21st chapter. I got to get this in. Y'all okay? All right. Matthew the 21st chapter. Let's go back to that parable. Let's finish this parable up.
Reading out of Matthew chapter 21, verse 33. Hear another parable. There was a certain householder which planted a vineyard and hedged it round about and digged a winepress in it and built a tower and let it out to a husbandman and went into a far country.
All right, so Moses went back to his throne in heaven. Go ahead.
Verse 34. And when the time of the fruit drew near,
Go ahead.
he sent his servants to the husbandman.
All right, so the servants were who? Prophets. Okay, the servants or the prophets. Write that in it. The servants or the prophets. Or the priests. You can say the priests too. All right, let's read that again slowly so everybody catch it. Verse 34.
Yeah, the Matthew chapter 21, verse 34. And when the time of the fruit drew near,
Go ahead.
he sent his servants to the husbandmen that they might receive the fruits of it.
All right, so he said the servants, sent the prophets to the husband. Husbands were who? The people and the rulers. All right? The husbandmen are the rulers and the people. But the servants are the priests and the prophets. Okay? Continue on.
Verse 35. And the husbandman took his servants and beat one and killed another.
All right, so that's the people and the rulers. They killed the prophets. All right, this is Yahushua breaking down the kingdom of the Most High. All right, he's telling them how it's going to be and how we enter the kingdom. Go ahead.
And killed another and stoned another.
All right, go ahead. We all know that history. Go ahead.
Verse 36. Again he sent other
He
servants
sent other prophets.
more than the first.
All right, that's why you got to send the law and the prophets unto John the Baptist. Go ahead.
And they did unto them
And they
likewise.
kill all the prophets. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 37. But last of all, he sent unto them his son.
All right, hold on. Okay, now, up to verse 36, Yahushua is talking about the Old Testament. So you can put a line really under between 36 and 37. Above that, it's talking about the Old Testament. That's the law and the prophets. Now he's going to go into the New Testament. Okay, verse 37. Let's talk about the New Testament now. Read that again.
Read out of Matthew chapter 21, verse 37. But last of all, he sent unto them his son.
So the Most High sent his son. Who's his son? Everybody know that? That's Yahushua. Y'all can write that in there. That's Yahushua. He sent his son. Go ahead.
Saying, they will reverence my son.
He said, they're going to reverence my son because this is the one I've chosen. All right, this is the one I am well pleased. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 38. But when the husbandmen saw the son,
Now, who's the husbandman? Who we said they were?
The rulers and the people.
All right, when they saw the son, go ahead.
they said among themselves, this is the heir.
All right, hold on. Let's stop right there. Now, we can add in also, because Yahushua, the parables, when you read them, it gets deep. Now, we can also introduce where the husband also, now you're going to the New Testament, you can include that how that's the rulers of Rome too. Pilate and Herod. Okay, now this is including them as well. Okay? Read that verse 38 again.
Now in Matthew chapter 21, verse 38. But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves.
Said among themselves, he's talking about the rulers of Israel, all right, the council, and also he talked about the Romans. Remember, we looked at Yahushua differently than the Romans, all right? We got upset against the Most High, against Yahushua, because he said that he was son of the Most High. Or at least we accuse him of saying he's son of the Most High. The Romans looked at Yahushua as a threat because Yahushua was a king. All right? That he was a king. You remember, the Romans got their king. He's Caesar. It can't be two kings. Either one gonna rule or not. So they're looking at this differently. Yahushua is a threat.
God.
They respected John the Baptist because they seen him as being righteous. But John the Baptist never said he was a king. So now you're saying he's a king of a people. You're a threat. That's why when you seen years ago, the United States went into Iraq, all right, and they brought Saddam Hussein in front of courts of law. If you go back and watch the videos, all Saddam Hussein would say is, I am the president of Iraq. He kept saying, I'm the president of Iraq. I'm the leader of this nation. That's all he kept saying. I'm the president. They kept reading the laws. Yeah, by that time, the United States had made them change different laws to get Saddam Hussein out of Iraq. But Saddam Hussein, he understood, I'm the president. You can't change the law. He kept saying that. So if you get a chance, look at those courts when they brought Saddam Hussein across the courts of law before they actually killed him. All right, so when the Romans saw Yahushua, they looked at him as a threat because he said he was a king, and more simply, king of the Jews. Okay, all right? Okay, continue on. This is what?
This is the heir.
All right. He said, they said this, the parable was saying, this is the heir, because only way you can be a king, you got to be what? Born. You got to be born a king of a woman, right? That's why they was going to kill all the males from what? They were trying to find him from ages what?
2 to 4.
Up to age 3, I believe, they're trying to look for him. Or was it 2? 2? Because the Romans understood, he's born. The king is born. They heard that he was born, that we got to find him. Because if not, if we let him grow, he's born a king. The people going to put him up in position. Okay, so for example, I got to take this kind of slow. Let's go to John 18 chapter, like a little more time. John 18 chapter, so y'all can understand this. John 18 chapter. Y'all all right? All right. All right, John 18th chapter. Let's see here. One second. All right, hold on. John 18 chapter. Let me get this. Let's start. Let's read 31. Start at 31. John 18:31. To 32. Start at 32.
Read out of John chapter 18, verse 32.
33.
33. Then Pilate entered into the judgment hall again, and called Yahushua, and said unto him, Art thou the king of the Jews?
He said, Are you the king of the Jews? That's what Pilate wanted to know. Okay, hold on, man. There's only one king. You saying you a king too? All right, go ahead.
Yahushua answered, saying, sayest thou this thing of thyself, or did others tell it to thee of me?
So he's saying the problem is, hey man, this is something that you saying, that you know, or did somebody tell you that? Okay, go ahead.
Pilate answered, am I a Jew?
He said, am I a Jew? Am I like you? Am I your nation? You saying you're a king? I mean, am I part of, I know Caesar's our king. He rule over us, but am I a Jew? Are you ruling over me? All right, go ahead.
Thine own nation and the chief priest has delivered thee unto me.
All right, go ahead.
What hast thou done?
He said, what did you do? Go ahead.
RAW-CHAA answered, my kingdom is not of this world.
All right, hold on. Underline kingdom. Now, he's telling you right there, he said, all right, my kingdom, all right, that means rulership of the earth. All right? He said, my kingdom is not of this world, or presently right now. That's he's saying. All right, it's not superficial about that. In other words, he's saying, my rulership is not right now. All right, continue.
If my kingdom were of this world,
If my kingdom was right now, go ahead.
then would my servants fight that I should not be delivered to the Jews.
All right, so now he said, then my army, if my kingdom was right now, my army would fight. Basically, his military would fight. It would be war. That's what he's saying. Okay, to be delivered. Go ahead.
But now is my kingdom not from hence.
Go ahead. Not far from now. Go ahead.
Verse 37. Pilate therefore said unto him, art thou a king then?
See, Pilate was interested in that. He didn't care about him saying the Son of the Most High. He wanted to know, okay, man.
Get to the point.
No, yeah, he want to know.
Get to the point.
And they know that they've been looking for that king. So, they know they've been. That's over 30 years ago.
30 years.
He's been around. And they said, all right, you the king. I mean, John the Baptist out the way now. Okay, go ahead.
Thou sayest that I am a king.
He said, no, thou sayest that you are a king. See, RAW-CHAA, he was smart. Okay, go ahead.
To this end was I born.
He was what?
To this end
Underline that.
was I born.
Right. Because you can't be a king unless you're born. Now, he basically told him, yeah, I'm a king. I was born. Because even Pilate know you can't be a king unless you're born a king. You can't be appointed a king. You got to be born a king. So Yahweh said, to this end, I am born. That's why when you read that parable, he said, this is the heir. Because once you're born, you're the heir. All right? Okay, read that again. That he said, to this end.
To this end was I born. And for this cause came I into the world.
Go ahead.
That I should bear witness unto the truth.
Unto the truth. Unto the truth is what? He's king. And also the nation Israel was going to be ruling. The same people that you see here, the truth is they're going to be ruling this earth. Okay? Go ahead.
Everyone that is of the truth heareth my voice.
Everyone that's of the nation of Israel, you're going to hear that in the voice of the Most High. That's us. That's us. That's what Scripture says, the truth has set you free. Okay? Just up to you to realize that we here to rule this earth. All right? That's what we're here for. Remember, we're supposed to be the head, not the tail. That's why they said to RAW-CHAA in the book of Acts, first chapter, he said, did you come here to restore the kingdom to Israel? I remember we never really ruled the earth. Even though King Solomon did, we never ruled the earth. We just got a glimpse of what rulership is going to be like, because at that time David had peace, okay? But we never had a royal rulership of the entire earth in righteousness. Because what? We weren't kings and priests. All right? David was a king, but he wasn't a priest. Okay? The Levites were the priests. But in the kingdom, the scripture said the king, he going to be a king and a priest. And we all going to be kings and priests then. Okay? Continue on.
Verse 38. Pilate saith unto him, what is truth?
All right, so what is truth? As he asks it now, Pilate interested. Okay, all right, you did say you was born. So he did pick up on that. All right? Now you want to know more. Okay, you born to be king? All right, go ahead.
And when he had said this, he went out again unto the Jews and said unto them, I find in him no fault at all.
So he never got the answer from Yahweh-CHAA.
Directly.
Nah, even though he asked, like, what's the truth? Are you the king that we know? Or you that Messiah? That's why even to this day, the government always want to take out black leaders. Okay, take them out, because even in the FBI records, J.L. Edgar Hoover was always saying that the leaders were messiahs. All right, why would the government say they're messiahs? Because they know whenever there's a messiah, that means the people that you have in your possession are going to be raised. We're the biggest threat to the United States government. Once we wake up and come back to this knowledge, understand that you're supposed to rule this earth in righteousness, we're the biggest threat, not just the United States, but the entire world. All right, and the closest thing to that is the Israelites. You're not gonna get that from the religion. But we got a lot of work to do to make that known. Because when you see on YouTube, you see Israelites teaching, some cursing, all right? It's always drama. And our people are so simple. You want to watch scenes or teaching when there's cursing and drama. Those got the most views. Instead of getting the knowledge. All right, so Esau look at us as a threat. But then at time he said, you know what? They're not really a threat. Hold on, sister. Not really a threat. I can honestly say, back in the 90s, early 90s, we were a threat. We were a threat to the government, the Israelites. But we still are in a certain way. Okay? We were a threat. Okay? Because we were on the street teaching that you the Jews. We were the first ones saying you the Jews. All that started at One West, as far as what is known the 12 tribes. I mean, it brought on to One West. My point is, the tribes and so forth, that was all began out of One West. And as you know, every state, country, got this word all over the world. Okay? All right? All right, so let's go to, and if you read the history, you see where even Herod and Pilate came together because they understood that Yahweh-CHAA was a king. Because Herod and Pilate, they was against each other. But when they found out about Yahweh-CHAA being a king, they came together to take him out. Okay? All right? All right, so let's go to, I don't want to go too far off. All right, let's go back to that parable. All right, let's go back to that parable. Okay. And you can write this scripture down, John 19:7. That shows where they accuse Yahweh-CHAA saying that he's the son of the Most High. All right, let's go back to Matthew 21. Let's finish this parable up.
Read down to Matthew chapter 21, verse 38. But when the husbandman saw the son, they said among themselves,
all right, that's the people and the Romans. Go ahead. This is
the heir.
This is the heir. Because Yahweh-CHAA said, to this end I was born. You can't be a king without being born. Go ahead.
Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance.
Seize on his inheritance. So the king, they took Yahweh-CHAA out. They seized on what's the inheritance? The kingdom, rulership for the earth. That's why the Romans, we still being ruled by the Romans. All right? That people still rule over us. Okay? Caesar, we go by the calendar. We constantly hailing Caesar every day. All right? There's a famous haircut called Caesar. Our brothers go on a haircut and say, give me a Caesar. You hear that word all day. Give me a dark Caesar. Give me a light Caesar. You hear that word all day. That just shows you that we rule still by the Romans. Dead men, they still rule over us.
And also to recall, like when a lot of women get not the normal way of getting childbirth, when they get cut, it's called a cesarean, which is also from Caesar.
Yeah, that's right. All right, you'd be surprised. We still even we go on vacation, stuff like that. You know, such as like for instance, steam rooms. All right, hot tubs. The Romans started that. All right, you'd be surprised how we do those things, not in a negative sense. All right, but all that's by Romans. Even to the point where you, I ain't gonna say I might start finishing some others, but you'd be surprised what you do that comes from the traditions of the Romans. Yeah.
We used to call a certain haircut, cut real low.
Yeah. And what he did when Caesar would conquer different nations, first he would cut their hair to make them look like him, but that's the haircut he had. And then two, remember when you cut someone's hair, you make them feel low. All right. That's why, you know, when you ever put a child in a barber chair, one of the first he starts crying. Because how would you feel somebody cut your hair against your will? How does that make you feel? Man or woman? If somebody just hold you down and cut your hair, it makes you feel low. Takes the power out of you. That's why when you go to the military, the first thing you do, cut your hair.
Buzz cut.
All right? They do that for two reasons. How would you say, I wouldn't say humiliate you, but to take your will away from you. And also, to also show unity. In other words, they don't want anybody thinking they different from anybody else. So that's what the Romans did. Okay, if you go to history, right, you'll find out when Alexander the Great fought the Persians. All right? The Persians would grab the they call them Macedonians. Those are the Greeks. The Macedonians. You go in history books. They would grab the Macedonian troops by their beards. Okay, because in those days all nations grew their beards. Okay, they grew their beards. So the Persians would grab the Macedonian beards, and they would grab their beard, because you grab a man's beard, you can pull him anywhere you want. It's just like, okay, when I grew up coming up, all right, and if you had a tussle in school, if I had a book bag on, I haven't took it off. Or if I had a hoodie on, I haven't took my hoodie off, because I knew if they grabbed me by a hoodie or that book bag, they could move me anywhere they want. That's the same concept back in those days when the Persians fought the Macedonians. It wasn't no AKAs, no machine guns. So they fought through martial arts, spear, shield, hand-to-hand combat. That's how men fought. So they grabbed the Macedonians by their beards, flipped them over, and cut their head off. They kept doing that to the Greeks. When you go to history, they kept doing that to the Greeks. So after a while, Alexander the Great said, hold on, I want everybody in the military to shave their beards off. He made a decree. It's in the history book. He made a decree. And it's from that point on, that decree was passed on to every nation. That's why you go to any military now, shave beards. Even in the Chinese military, shave beards. Only one that might have a beard, if you wish to call them, I don't really consider them a military, Taliban. That's a militia, more like. They're not a real army. They're the only ones walking around with AKAs and a beard. All right? But American troops, even all the troops in the Hamite nations, they cut their beards off in the military. Or it all started with Alexander the Great, when you read the history. So you'd be surprised what we do in terms of the history of the Romans and the Greeks. Okay, I'll keep getting off schedule. All right, let's finish this parable.
On your point, that's why prophecy says, because the Most High said, the fourth beast, which was the Roman Empire, shall be diverse of all kingdoms. It shall stamp the residue with its feet and stamp Roman and policies and doctrines into the earth of all nations. When they conquer all the nations, their doctrines, philosophy, and way of life is going to be stamped in the earth for a long time.
That's right. Even from RAW-CHAA. All right, here RAW-CHAA dealing with Pilate. Okay. All right. Okay, let's go back to Matthew 21. Let's finish this parable up.
Read out of Matthew chapter 21, verse 38. But when the husbandman saw the son, they said among themselves, this is the heir.
This is the heir, the king. Go ahead.
Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance.
Which is the kingdom and rulership of the earth. Go ahead.
Verse 39. And they caught him, and cast him out of the vineyard.
Which is the earth. Go ahead.
And slew him.
Slew him. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 40. When the Most High thereof of the vineyard cometh.
That is the Most High. That's the Lord is the Most High. When he came, all right, go ahead.
What will he do unto these husbandmen?
All right, so they're asking, all right, when the Most High come, what are you going to do against them? Now, who the husbandmen? Who are they?
The powers of the people.
All right.
Rulers and the people.
All right, go ahead. The Romans and us. Go ahead.
Verse 41. They say unto him, he will miserably destroy those wicked men.
So that's the Most High going to do. Now this is how I'm talking about the kingdom in a parable. Okay? He's going to miserably destroy those wicked men. Okay? That killed his son. Okay? All right, go ahead.
And will let out his vineyard unto other husbandmen.
Go ahead.
Which shall render him the fruits in their season.
All right, so going to be, in that kingdom, it's going to be what? Righteous kings and priests. All right? Kings and priests, righteous. That's the kingdom he's talking about. Go ahead.
Verse 42. Yahweh said unto them, did ye never read in the scriptures? The stone which the builders rejected, the same has become the head of the corner. This is the Most High's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes.
Underline, it's marvelous in our eyes. This is what Most High's doing. Hold that. We're going to come back to this. Let's go to John, the 19th chapter. We're going to get understanding what it says. This is the Most High's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes. That's the question. All right? John, the 19th chapter. John, the 19th chapter, the 10th verse.
Read out of John chapter 19, verse 10. Then said Pilate unto him, speakest thou not unto me?
All right, so Pilate went to him and said, hey, man, you're not going to talk, answer me? I'm asking you a question, man. Now, they face to face. He said, man, you ain't going to tell me, you know, what the truth or whether you're the king or not? All right? Go ahead.
Knowest thou not that I have power to crucify thee?
So Pilate is in Yahweh's face and said, you ain't going to answer me? And you know well that I can kill you? That's what Pilate coming at him. Okay, go ahead.
And have power to release thee?
And I can kill you or let you go? I have that power over you? What did Yahweh say next? This is one of my favorite chapters too. Go ahead.
Yahweh answered.
He answered. Go ahead.
Thou couldst have no power at all against me.
All right, basically, he stood up and said, look in his face. That made Yahweh stand up because Yahweh know, I just told you, if my kingdom was supposed to be right now, I'd had the military here, my army. we'd have came and just destroyed, like the parable said, destroy all the wicked men. So Yahweh had to sit back, but he let him know, hey man, don't talk to me like that. Like you can kill me. Yahweh didn't like that. He stood up and says, you have no power. Let's read that.
Except it were given thee from above.
All right, read that again.
Yahweh answered, thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above.
That's why you read that parable, it says, this is the Most High's doing. All right? That's what you're talking about. This is the Most High's doing. Go ahead.
Therefore, he that delivereth me unto thee hath the greater sin.
All right. Let's talk about Israel. Okay, now, go back to the parable so we can finish it up. Matthew 21 and 42. 42, yeah.
I didn't get there yet.
Yeah,
wait.
Yeah, we said this is the Lord's.
Okay,
It's the Lord's doing. Verse 42.
Okay. Read out of Matthew chapter 21, verse 42. Yahweh said unto them, did ye never read the scriptures? The stone which the builders rejected, the same is become the head of the corner. This is the Most High's doing.
All right, go ahead.
And it is marvelous in our eyes.
To get into the kingdom. Go ahead. 43.
43. Therefore, say I unto you, the kingdom of Yahweh shall be taken from you and given to a nation bringing forth the fruits thereof.
All right, he's telling you right there that the kingdom, rulership of the earth is taken from you and given to another nation that brought fruits thereof, meaning wicked fruits. All right, so the rulership on the earth is supposed to be for you, not for them. He's telling them right there. It's given to another nation. That's what it say. Don't read too much in the scriptures. Let the scriptures come out to you. It's telling you that the kingdom is given to another nation. We all trying to think religiously, all different philosophies. Are we all going to be in the kingdom? We going to be doing this. Most High is going to show you that the kingdom is for the rulership of the earth. Okay? Continue reading.
Verse 44.
All right.
And whosoever shall fall on this stone shall be broken.
So if whosoever gonna follow that nation that the Most High gave his kingdom to, who should earth, that brought wicked fruits, and you fall on that nation, you continue doing what they're doing, go ahead.
You shall be broken.
Go
ahead. But on whosoever it shall fall, it will grind him to powder.
Right. This rulership right now. You go into this nation and follow how they call the wine and the philosophy that we follow the other nations. Esau, we're gonna be put to power because when that kingdom come, Yahweh got that. He's a new GM. He's the king,
and that goes to the toes being clay, being pulverized.
Yep, right on point, right on point. Okay, so that's why come out of her, my people. Come out of her, my people. Yahweh he's basically speaking to you in a parable. All right, go ahead.
Verse 45. And when the chief priests and Pharisees had heard his parables, they perceived that he spoke of them.
Yeah, because they knew they was in bed with the Romans. They knew they was in bed with the Romans because they understood. Listen, man, if Yahweh keep doing what he doing, the Romans gonna take us out. You know, they was like sellouts as well, like a lot of leaders. Okay, all right, go ahead.
Verse 46. But when they sought to lay hands on him, they feared the multitude because they took him for a prophet.
Yeah, they respected him, Yahweh because what he was showing. All right.